3, 7, 8. Here we are. You wipe your bloodied sword on the mattress. The green blood leaves a slimy stain on the straw. Stepping over the bodies towards the table, you flinch at the foul stench of the creatures. You pick up the box from under the table and examine it. It is a small wooden box of crude hinges. The name Farrago de Maggio is inscribed on a brass nameplate on the lid. If you wish to open the box, turn to 296. If you decide to leave it behind and open the room, turn to 42. Well, I don't know who Farrago de Maggio is, so I guess it's worth opening the box to find out. Yeah, 296. Here we are. The box contains a small leather-bound book entitled The Making and Casting of Dragon Fire. That could be useful. You open the pages and begin to read. Fortunately, it is written in your own language, and so is probably not understood by the orcs. Otherwise, this treasure would certainly not be as loosely guarded as it was. The book is written in the tiny handwriting by Farrago de Maggio. In it, he tells the story of his life work, the creation of the dragon fire spell, with which to fight evil dragons. You read how, in his last years, Farrago finally perfected his spell, but by then was too old to make use of it. So he completed his book, locked it in a chest, and hid it in the depths of Firetop Mountain, afraid it might fall into the wrong hands. The last page reads, "And so, you who now hold this book, you have my life's work in your hands. The power of destruction is yours if you wish it, but do not waste it. Unless you use the spell for the purpose of which it was intended, you shall be consumed by evil itself and die by the fire from your own hands. Remember, only when the dragon breathes its fire should you raise your arms and say, Ekil Erif, Akam Erif, Erif Erif, De Maggio." And if you read that backwards, it looks like it says, "Fire, like, fire, make, fire, fire," and then De Maggio. You say these words slowly and softly. Suddenly the pages seem to glow. As this glow disappears, so do the words on the page. You repeat the spell to yourself to memorize it and leave the room. Turn to 42. I should probably write down that I've got that then. So it is the dragon fire spell. Dragon fire spell. I'm going to write down which page it's on as well. 296. In case I have to remember it or something. Turn to 42. You eventually arrive at the end of the passage. At the three-way junction, you may either turn to the west or the east. Well, last time I went east, I ended up getting injured. So perhaps it's the best to do it again this time, because they wouldn't have the same trap in the same place twice. Or would they? Again, I need 4 for traps, so I know where they are, so let's go east. Since I'm not writing any of this down, I've forgotten it by take 2, so oh well. You arrive at another junction in the passage. You may either go northwards or continue eastwards. Well, I've decided on the east, so I'm going to keep going east, I think. So I'm going to do 78. The passage ends at a solid wooden door with metal hinges. Listening at the door, you hear the strange mutterings and clatter of what could be pots and pans. Whatever is in there are several of them. Do you want to go through the door or turn back? Well, pots and pans suggest lunch. And, you know, I could use some lunch. So I guess I go through the door. Turn to 159. You open the door into a large room which can only be the dining room of the same warty-faced creatures you now recognise. Sitting around a large table are 5 orcs, busily drinking and dribbling their bowls of rat gizzard soup. Do rats have gizzards? I thought that was a bird thing. All are involved in a rowdy argument as to who will get to chew the rat bones left in the large soup cauldron, so they do not see you enter. You may be bold and prepare to attack them, or you may not relish the prospect of taking on 5 of these creatures and try to escape. If you wish to leave the room, test your luck. If you're lucky, you get out without them noticing. There is no penalty for escaping. If you're unlucky, they notice you. Prepare for battle and turn to 365. 5 of them. My health is kind of low, and so is my skill, so it probably wouldn't be the best idea to fight them. I think I'm going to try to escape. Okay, so I need to test my luck. My luck is on 9, because I found that coin. 8. Hey, my luck worked out, and I escaped the room. Escaped out without being noticed. Turn to 237. Yeah, I cowered it out, but I don't want to die. 237. Here we are. You move swiftly down the passage and arrive back at the junction. Turn northwards this time. Turn to 285. I mean, they were probably guarding like the most ultimate treasure in existence, but without my decent skill, I'd probably have just died all the time. You see a well-used door on the right-hand side of the passageway. With your ear to the keyhole, you listen and hear a man screaming for help inside. Will you open the door or walk on? Well, if someone's screaming for help, it could be a trap, but it could also be someone who actually needs help, so I think helping him is going to be my best bet. 213. The door is locked. You may try to charge it down by rolling 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your skill score, the door busts open. If the number is greater than your skill score, the door remains locked and you lose 1 stamina point. Okay, so that's the same as before. Last time. Let's hope I get less than 7, because I want to see what's behind this door. Hey, 3. I smash the door down and turn to 36. The locked door bursts open and a nauseating stench hits your nostrils. Inside, the room and floor is covered with bones, rotting vegetation and slime. A wild-haired old man, clothed in rags, rushes at you screaming. I got the picture of him. Looking pretty nasty. His beard is long and grey, and he is waving an old wooden chair leg. Has this been some kind of... Hang on. Is he simply as insane as he appears, or has this been some kind of trap? You may either shout at him to try and calm him down, or draw your sword and attack him. The guy looks kind of withered, and I don't want to attack someone who might just be panicking, so I'm going to shout at him. Yell at him to calm down. You shout, "You are freed, old man," at the top of your voice. Instantly his rantings cease. He stops dead in his tracks and sinks to the floor, weeping loudly. As he gradually composes himself, he thanks you many times. You talk with him in the hope of discovering some of the secrets of the mountain, and he begins to tell his story. Many years ago, he was an adventurer like you before he took an arrow to the knee. No, it doesn't say that. He was an adventurer like you in search of the Warlock's treasure. He was captured by the orcs and thrown into his solitary cell as a sort of pet for the creatures. Well, I prefer hamsters, personally, but I guess if old men are your kind of pet, go for it. You ask whether he would like to accompany you into the mountain, but he simply wants to leave and see the world again. You ask him for advice, but he says he knows little. He advises you pay your respects to the boatman. He tells you you must pull the right-hand lever on the wall passage to open the iron gate at the end of the passage. He also learns that the keys to the boathouse are guarded by a man and his dog. You shake hands, leave the room, and go your separate ways. Add 1 luck. Just pause that sec. Okay, back again. Just had to go get a drink there because my throat was drying out. Okay, where was I? Further up the passage, you see a door in the east wall. You listen hard but hear no sound. Do you want to open the door to investigate? If so, turn to 223. Or do I want to walk further up the passage and turn to 300? Well, again, investigating rooms is what seems to make things happen, so I guess it's worth going in. 223. Yeah. The door is firmly locked. You may try to force it open, or you may continue along the corridor. Well, considering my track record of doors so far, I guess forcing it open is going to be the best option. Turn to 53 to try and force it open. Here we are. You charge the door, hitting it squarely with your shoulder. Roll 2 dice. Yeah, we've been through all this with the skill score, and losing a point if I fail. So we know how this works, we've done it already. Hey, 5 again. I'm getting quite decent on these door attacks. See. If the number rolled is equal or less, turn to 155, and it was. So I managed to get the door open again. Yeah, I might not be much of a combatant, but these doors... Yeah, let me tell you, I can get these doors open. Where is it? The door splits along its length, and you can wrench the timbers apart to let yourself in. I didn't knock the door in, I destroyed the door with my shoulder. I thought I was just going to smash it open again. But no, I just straight up wrecked the door. Why can't I do that against the goblins and orcs? A torch hangs from one wall, lighting up a small armory room stocked with swords, shields, helmets and daggers, breastplates and the like. Nice little picture there of all the stuff. You examine the weaponry and find nothing appearing superior to your own sword. However, a circular iron shield of a golden crescent at the centre catches your eye. You pick it up and feel the weight on your arms. If you wish to take the shield with you, it will aid you in battle by helping you fend off wounds damage inflicted by a creature on you. If in future, during a battle in which you are using the shield, the creature wounds you, you may throw 1 die. If you throw a 6, the creature inflicts only 1 point of damage instead of the normal 2. If for some reason the creature would only normally inflict 1 point of damage, then a successful roll of 6 would mean no damage is done. However, the shield is heavy, and you'll have to leave behind 1 item of equipment to be able to carry it. I don't think my starting equipment actually is supposed to be in this list, so I'd have to either leave behind the key of the spell. And... oh god, do I take it? Well, battle seems to be something to be avoided, I'm finding, so... maybe I should leave the shield behind. I don't have enough items to reasonably drop. I think I'll leave it. Turn to 300. And besides, if I get attacked, I can just use my amazing shoulder barge to smash them to pieces. 300, here we are. On the east wall of the passage, you see another door, this time made of solid metal. Listening at the door, you hear the sound of tortured screams coming from within. If you wish to try opening the door, turn to 102. If you decide to ignore this room and continue up the corridor, turn to 303. Well, the last time I investigated tortured screams, an old man gave me some advice. It's probably a trap this time, but I'm going to fall for it again to find out what's in there. The door is not locked and opens. The room in front of you seems to be a small torture chamber, with various torture devices around the walls. Torture devices in a torture chamber. I've kind of put those realizations the other way round, noticing the torture devices and discovering it's a torture chamber. Oh, I'm overthinking things. In the centre of the room, 2 small hunchbacked creatures are having their fiendish way with a dwarf. I'm not going to conjure up a mental image for that. Who is tied to a hook in the ceiling by his wrists. The 2 hunchbacks are poking and cutting him viciously with their swords. The dwarf lets out a final scream and falls silent, eyes closed. His captors make disappointed noises and look round angrily at you if it were your fault that the dwarf collapsed. You must act quickly. Will you close the door quickly and continue up the corridor? Draw your sword and fight the creatures? Stride over to the dwarf and give him a jab with your sword and put an evil laugh at the torturers. I'm going to assume the dwarf is already dead, and I think these torturers might be on my side if I join in. So, as much as I hate to say this, I'm going to stab the dwarf. Oh, God, this is probably going to end up very badly for me. Oh, well. The 2 goblin torturers look at each other amazed, then look at you. They chatter to themselves, and then indicate for you to wait while they go off and get another dwarf to give them some more fun. They dissipate out of the room, and you cut down the dwarf, who is, as you guessed it, quite dead. You decide best to leave and press on northwards at the corridor. Turn to 303. Okay, so that action got me out of a fight. So that worked out quite well. And I'm glad he was already dead. I didn't want to stab her. If he was still alive, that would be kind of jerkish. I just noticed that bag's on camera. And I'm back. I just noticed there was a bin bag sticking up on camera. Had to move that out of the way. Where was I? Turning to 303. That bag is still making noise. Oh, hopefully it won't pick up on the microphone. At the end of the passage, where it meets another going... You arrive at the end of the passage, where it meets another going east-west. But an iron portcullis blocks your way, and no amount of charging is going to budge it. On the wall to your right are 2 levers, and it seems likely one of these levers will have something to do with raising the portcullis. Do you wish to pull the right lever, or the left lever? Anyway, there's the portcullis. It looks exactly like what I'd expect one to look. And thanks to the old man, I know that the right lever is the one to go for. Assuming he wasn't lying. I suppose I should trust him. I mean, there's nothing else. I have no reason not to trust him, at least, at this point. I mean, he did try to attack me, but I think because he thought I was one of the orcs again. You hear a deep rumbling noise and the ground begins to shudder. Slowly and noisily, the portcullis rises into the ceiling. You may now walk to the junction. Will you turn west or east? Did the old man say anything about turning west or east? I don't remember. He definitely told me I had to pull the right lever, and that turned out to be true. So, I've been turning east a lot. Let's try west. 210. Shortly along the passage, you arrive at another junction, where you may either go straight ahead, westwards, or northwards. Well, let's try north. I think north sounds good. 357. I feel I'm getting quite far in this. I'm surprised I haven't died yet. Yeah, 357, right? Yeah. I mean, normally this far into a first attempt I'm dead already. The passage runs for some distance northwards, and then starts to open into a large cavern of rough walls. There appears to be no way through. Will you return to the junction or enter the cavern? Well, a cavern could have all kinds of interesting things in it, so let's go in. As you enter the cavern, you hear loud footsteps behind you, crunching heavily on the rocky floor. You crouch down behind the entrance in a small alcove in the rock. The steps get louder as you see a great ogre enter the cavern. He stands over 2 meters tall and is dressed in ill-fitting garments made of some sort of hide. He carries a large wooden club. I can try and attack him, I can creep out without him noticing, or I can distract him by throwing something into a far corner of the cavern. Attacking him seems like a bad idea. I'm going to say that just straight now. I don't think I want to attack him. Creeping out seems kind of cowardly, and I feel I might get punished for it. So I'm going to try and be smart and throw something into a corner. And that might distract him and maybe let me get a goodie or something. Unless I have to use one of my items, I hope. I hope I don't. I only got that key. You open your pack and reach inside for something suitable to throw across the cavern. Check your equipment list. Choose one item to throw and cross it off your list. If you have no equipment, you will have to throw a gold piece. You throw the object across the cavern where it lands with a clatter. The ogre looks towards the noise and goes over to investigate. Meanwhile, you creep out, down the passage and back to the junction. It doesn't say what to do if I don't have a gold piece, or any equipment. But still, I suppose the only thing I've got to throw is the key. So I guess I throw the key. That's not a very good idea, I think. But, oh well. I made my decision, and now I must pay for it. And I want to keep the gold piece for the ferryman. Turn to 269. You arrive back at the junction and turn westwards. Turn to 225. All that flicking, it'll flick back again. Why didn't you just tell me to do that? 225, where are you? The passage continues westward and then turns due north. Some way up you reach a junction where a narrow passage runs off to the west. Will you continue northwards or take the west way? There's a lot of corridors around here at the minute. Well, I guess turning corners always seems to lead to stuff, so let's keep going. Let's turn west.